The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences only, so don't tell your parents! Listener discretion is advised.
We should do a barbershop quartet to get it all synced up. Hello. Hello.
No.
I don't harmonize. Melanie, get in.
No.
Melanie's the one that sings, not me.
Mel's a team player here.
No. You can't make me.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Alright, everybody, hello, and welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast for this week. My name is JD. Unfortunately, Kyle had to work because, he's a busy boy.
What's your name every other day of the week?
Jamie.
Don't fucking out me. Matt is here.
I'm here.
My lovely wife Melanie is here.
I always get such a nice introduction.
Because I love you, and you're actually in front of me.
I get like a nicer introduction because you don't say like the lovely Matt is here.
Because Matt's ugly as fuck.
Oh man, that's awful. Oh my god.
No, Matt is a beautiful man.
Jeez.
JD, I'd fucking bet money I'm more photogenic than you.
Probably.
Wow.
And also Nolan is here.
Hi, it's me. It's Nolan.
Hi, Nolan.
I'm here. What's up, everybody? I'm very good at this.
Hell yeah. So this week we are talking about Sym-Bionic Titan, which I think around this time is its 10th anniversary.
Yeah, it is.
Hard to think.
Let's fucking go!
It's hard to think.
November, I think, was when it aired.
Something like that. But we especially have Melanie and Nolan on here because there is no bigger Sym-Bionic Titan fans that I'm aware of, which these people can recite this show from memory more or less. So I figured it'd be good to have them on here.
Wow.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So
What an honor.
Yeah.
So I have not watched this show since it aired originally, and Melanie and I got through most of it over the last couple days. And the show kind of like resurged back in popularity because I think like December of last year it just came up on Netflix. It's like, hey, Sym-Bionic Titan's streaming on Netflix now. So
fingers are crossed that's good news.
maybe, but a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
We were originally going to try to do an episode around then, too, but
Yeah.
we just got... We a bunch of other stuff came up, and
Yeah,
we had to put it off.
We've been trying to do this episode for almost the better part of a year, and it just kept getting pushed back for any number of reasons. But then we were like, no, this is when the actual 10th anniversary is. We're just gonna schedule it in now. It's gonna lock it in now. We're gonna
Might as well talk about it once it's topical in that way.
Yeah, there you go. So
I've never seen this show. You said that so all three of you originally watched it when it aired, to completion or not.
Yeah.
I never actually seen it.
I watched them all as they premiered.
Same.
All of them.
I can't
remember I
imagine
lived
the rage you must have felt when you got left on that last episode. Then,
Yeah, I felt
pretty sore. I felt pretty sore about it, like just watching it, like binging it, and then not being able to continue off of that point. But God, to watch it like weekly and then just be left hanging and then nothing else, man. That's the reason why it's always such a risky gamble, like watching any show weekly now, because it's like you'll never know if it's going to get renewed or not, and if it ends on a cliffhanger, then that's it. That sucks.
Yeah, Melanie, you were saying something.
Wow.
Sorry, Mel.
Oh no, I was just saying that I remember I was living in the dorms in college, and I would always it was on at like 8:00 every Wednesday. And I made it an effort because I would always go to the rec center and run. And then I'd always I had to be back by 8. So I could watch it in my tiny little dorm room, tiny little TV I had under my bed. And I just remember my friend at the time was like, seriously, it's a cartoon show. Because that was before you could
Yeah, I mean, this is before Netflix really was a thing. So
if you didn't catch it when it aired.
Yeah.
And then so, they would skip episodes every couple weeks if it was like a holiday, and I'd always be like, what the fuck?
Either that or you had to buy it on iTunes or PlayStation Network.
Oh God, yeah.
I had to.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do PlayStation Network because didn't have an iTunes. I did get an iTunes later, and then I rebought them just for solidarity.
Nice.
So, yeah,
That's dedication.
So, if you think you're a dedicated Sym-Bionic Titan fan, go fuck yourself.
Whoa!
I'm awesome.
All right.
I'm awesome.
All right, Nolan. Then expose your dedication.
I
here.
wouldn't say I'm like solely a Symbionic fan. I'd say I'm a Gendy fan.
Yeah. No, definitely a Gendy fan for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Dexter, Samurai Jack.
I mean, everything he comes out with is great.
Yeah, just watching Clone Wars earlier this year for the podcast. Like that was something I checked out, and then they're going to be airing the rest of Primal later on in this year, and it's like
we still need to catch up. We watched like the first 2 episodes of Primal.
It's been rough. I'm having a hard time, but I'm such a slut for Gendy that I'm going to try.
All the things that I've ever seen from Gendy, I've been enamored and impressed with, and Sym-Bionic Titan is definitely no slouch in that regard.
He does not disappoint. So when I saw the show was coming out, and you're like, oh, creator of Samurai Jack, and I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's a good show.
Because I love Samurai Jack, which is what originally even just piqued my interest in it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I think Nolan was going to go on, and we interrupted.
Oh no! I was just gonna be smug and like say how much of a fan I was more than literally everybody else. But
I believe
you liked it.
No.
Nolan liked it before it was cool.
Yeah, well.
The self-proclaimed king of the Symbionic Titan fan
Well,
club.
and he's a big Ava fan, so do you just like mechs, or...
No, most of the shows I like that have mechs in them are just kind of like...
Teenage issues.
Teenage angst, but no, that wasn't it. I just thought Symbionic Titan was a super endearing show. Very fun, had an engaging story, had great characters, Kimmy is a queen, and she deserved a better story arc before it was taken away from her.
Dude, we were watching this, rewatching this for the show, and, like, I kind of forgot how much of a redemption arc she gets.
Yeah, they really do her good.
Like she shows up and she's, like, this total bitch, and then, like, a couple episodes later, she's, like, they completely endear you to her.
Honestly, I find her more interesting than Lana or Lance.
Lance is kind of interesting, but it's mostly because of lore reasons. Like, I guess spoilers from here on out, but like you're watching an episode on this.
Yeah.
What were you expecting?
I feel like his build-up is more interesting than he himself. If that makes sense.
Character is he's very one note. He has the same. He's a moody teenage boy. He's sassy. Sometimes he warms up eventually.
You know what I love about
which
that,
is nice
though?
to see.
What I love that they do with this character is, like, usually if you're watching like an anime or a superhero show and there's a character like that literally is just how they are. But what I love about this show is that the creators just, like, owned the fuck out of it, and even have, like, side characters being like, God, he's moody. God, he's antisocial. He's cool. Like, I love that they just, like, take a chance to be like, dude, yeah, he kind of sucks, but that's why he's cool.
Yeah. There are a lot of episodes that focus on Lance and his changes throughout the series, like
not like puberty or anything, more like
character changes.
Although I'm kind of surprised. Well, no, I guess they kind of had a episode like that when Alana had the fucking alien werewolf.
Yeah, eating her.
That didn't have anything to do with it.
It was, like, so gross.
No, I think it's an allegory, Nolan. I think you, the biggest fan of the show, should know that obviously that was meant to represent going through puberty. Like, I think very
the curtain
clearly
was fucking blue, Matt. Shut up.
It was very clear, Nolan.
Damn. I didn't expect
Well, yeah, because they do set that whole episode up with they're starting out with, like, talking about dates and kissing, and she's obviously very, like, green to that whole concept.
Mel, I was talking out of my ass. I totally forgot about any of that.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, but, like...
You thought about more than I did.
I didn't think it was puberty related, but then when you said that, I was like, oh, maybe it is.
Maybe there's a deeper level
I
of this.
I don't think so. I think the idea behind that episode was... because it's mostly about relationships. Mm-hmm. Like, it talks about Octus's relationship with Kimmy. It talks about Alana's, like, relationships with princes and, like, being courted, and how she kind of, like, doesn't like it that much. And that's what the main focus of the episode was on.
Well, yeah, and I think it was showing how like she doesn't actually have experience with like real human relationships outside of her princess.
Well, like interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
I know. They're aliens. They can't have human relationships.
They just conveniently look human.
I do wish we had gotten...
Not really, though, because, I mean, okay, so I was talking with Kyle the other day, so he couldn't be on the episode, unfortunately, but we were having the discussion. So the style of the show, the main characters and, like, a lot of the key characters certainly have, like, a certain way that they look, but especially the Galilunians, which is the race. But everyone on Earth, like, all the humans, they look so much more...
Grotesque.
Grotesque is the word. Yes, Nolan, thank you. Grotesque is definitely the word I would use to describe the designs for most of the humans on the show.
I noticed that there's like literally no black people. It's like a very white
there's a few like background characters, but
there's like literally no black people.
One of the cheerleaders is black.
but then she never shows up again.
No,
she's
but
a very fair.
It's a very white show,
right? Like. I was kind of like,
It was a different time.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's fucked up is that it's only a decade ago, which means that kind of like a lot of representation in shows has only been like coming
any of
like
the
recently.
Galilunians are black.
I didn't see any.
Well, I mean, Galiluna is very Eurocentric in terms of its aesthetic.
I mean,
so
God,
it's not shocking.
Like the whole aesthetic is colonialism, like, or not is it colonialism I'm thinking of? They have like those uniforms.
It's colonial.
Yeah, colonial.
Space planet that teleports. I think they can have black people.
No. I'm just saying though. That's,
well, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, but like,
I don't know.
I don't know
if our show is qualified to get into race politics.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that.
Yeah, Melanie, what are you, like an SJW feminist?
Yeah, well, sometimes. Yeah. In my downtime.
But yeah, in my off
days.
No, but no, for realsies, there is a lot. It really does go to show that it was just made in a different era. It was simultaneously behind yet ahead of its time. Because it would have been popular if it came out today.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Like,
did Pacific Rim rip this show off?
No.
Like with the whole drift thing? Because I know it doesn't work exactly that way in Sym-Bionic Titan, but when I saw it, I was like, hey, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, no, they're not even remotely comparable, I don't think. Like, unless you're talking about two people piloting the same mech at once, then I guess, yeah. But that
specific aspect, yes, that was what I was referring
to. But that was done before, even before Titan. Titan was like a hodgepodge of like tons of shit that like Gendy saw because he's a huge, massive fucking weeaboo.
Yeah, no, he had a very big influence from mecha anime for sure.
Yeah, I'm reading a little bit here, and it's like saying that Gendy was inspired by like kind of like
Voltron and
like Macross, Voltron, all that kind of like mecha stuff from like the 70s and 80s,
which is really obvious in the G-Force people.
Which explains why he doesn't like black people.
True. He's also an immigrant himself from Russia.
Kanye West. Gendy Tartakovsky doesn't care about black people.
Oh, well, neither does Kanye, so.
But yeah, no. There was a lot of stuff, a lot of like tropes that like people like in this current day and age, like an overarching plot, a mystery, lots of implied romance.
Well, one thing I always enjoy from a good Gendy is his use of timing with his action with his character models. And I think, Lance as a character, I'm like, he's fine, whatever. But his character design, I love how they always like structure him. His silhouette is always really clear to see. And like,
I don't think Gendy actually did the character design. I need to look up who did.
He mostly just directed that at the episodes themselves, I believe. Because I mean, he wasn't even the sole creator of Sym-Bionic Titan. He was like a co-creator of like two other people, I think.
It was also Paul Rudish and Brian Andrews, I believe his name is. Let me double check.
Well, Brian.
Gendy came up with the concept of what if there was like a robot in high school, and then Paul Rudish and Brian Andrews were like, well, what if they probably need like more characters to like flesh them out.
Well, I think the original, not the original premise of the show, but I think the idea kind of even stems back to. I was reading on it earlier. There was an episode of Samurai Jack where they they have like some alien teens and a robot or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen Samurai Jack, but that was from what I read.
Well, and even that episode of Dexter's Lab where he's in Japan with robots. Like...
Well, yeah, and that was it. That was the first thing that I kind of thought of too, because I was like, yeah, obviously the influence goes back to even the Dexter days for sure.
And I don't know, did Gendy work on Powerpuff Girls at all? Because obviously there's that episode where they're a giant mech, and and so.
I love that episode.
Okay, yeah. I remember now. The character designer is Steven DeStefano. He does a lot of great work.
We'll have to look him up.
I think he did the original character designs for Danny Phantom before Butch was like, no, it has to be more like me.
Yeah.
And
they got Steven.
More like me. And
I mean, it does make sense. I can absolutely see a similarity.
That, and I think he's also behind the new redesigns for the Johnny Test reboot.
I forgot that was happening. I tried to forget.
Of all the things you can reboot.
Rebooting everything!
But, but he's very talented artist. He does great
I have
work.
to look him up.
Though
he's worked on the Mickey Mouse shorts, stuff like that,
okay.
But yeah, back on topic because I won't.
I love the dynamic poses of the show, and I always say no one times like Gendy does. I mean, he's great.
Well, yeah. So one thing about Gendy, I've especially watching this and Samurai Jack, and a lot from what little we watched of Primal so far.
But even Dexter too, because I know what you're about to say.
Hotel Transylvania.
Well, what I was getting to is that I like that Gendy isn't afraid to
let it breathe.
To let it breathe. That's a good way of putting it.
That's a really good way to put it.
Gendy was not afraid to have a quiet moment and just let it go for a minute.
And I think that's maybe one of the reasons I like it so much is because there is tension. He'll let build.
There were a lot of quiet moments in episode 2 where Alana's going to the mall and it just reflects on all the damage the Titan did and how many billions of dollars.
And I really like how a lot of times they just kind of let their eyes do the talking, where they'll peer over and you can just kind of
Well, I especially noticed it because we watched the episode where they're in the swamp and Alana has to gets mutated. There's just a lot of shots of them just walking through the forest. The camera's pulled back out, so you just see them walking along, and it's just very quiet. You hear the sounds of the swamp, and there's not a lot of dialogue in those scenes, and I like it because it's you're just kind of breathe. It's letting you breathe in the atmosphere of
which is I feel like what 90% of Samurai Jack was.
Yes.
Samurai Jack was way more there isn't a lot
more of breathing.
It's very weird because the sound design can be really amazing, but then you get to the action scenes and they use the same stock explosion sound effect.
Well, and I was even comparing it the scenes where they're eating and chewing. It's from Dexter, and I was just God, that's weird. Or when their eyes peer over.
I think he has a lot of specific sound effects that he really loves to use that he can't.
Which is funny because it's obviously a more serious show. But they still use those.
No, I think there was the fucking episode where I think it was when Octus and Kimmy are doing the tutor thing, and then Lance and Alana are at the not at the mall but wherever they're and
eating?
Fucking it's like a boardwalk.
Yeah,
it's like a boardwalk that is not in Sherman, Illinois. Can I just quick aside?
Is that where it's based?
Quick aside, Sherman, Illinois does not look like that. It is dingy as fuck.
Is it based there?
No, okay, so
I didn't know that.
Mel can attest. I said this earlier.
Yeah.
He's I love that the town is next to every single kind of biome that they need. There's a swamp. They're next to the ocean.
Well, I don't think it is. I think the swamp they could have traveled to because obviously they show that they can travel far.
No, it's but there's one shot that they show the city. It is literally just Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was more like a metropolitan city from California, but definitely not Sherman, Illinois.
I just assume everywhere is New York City.
Yeah, but back to what Matt was saying. Go ahead.
Anyway, back to what I was saying was because we were talking about the fucking him using specific sound effects and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There was the episode. There was the scene there where Lance is trying to he orders a really big burger,
that cheeseburger,
and he's trying to fucking eat it, and you can see his jaw stretching as far as it can, the sounds and everything.
So
it reminded me of fucking Dexter, and how there's a lot of because that's the thing too is Yeah, I that's the thing that I enjoy the most about Gendy's work is him being able to let stuff breathe, because yes, it works it works very well for action oriented stuff like this.
And what I really love,
Samurai Jack, and for from what I've seen at Primal, works especially well there. But even back to when he was working on Dexter, which was, had some action, but was primarily comedy. But his particular way of timing things there worked especially well. So it shows that he's got a really good grasp on just timing in general for different, for different types of scenes.
Purposes.
Yeah, for different purposes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I really like how when Lance was stretching his mouth, if I remember correctly, they used like an elastic sound effect.
Yeah.
What I really like about this is what I really like about the characters is that, okay, we have Lance, he's obviously moody, doesn't give a shit, but they still give him space to be a goofy teenager. That scene, he's trying to eat that burger, he's like, no, I got it. I mean, what teenager hasn't done that? With and I think it's just charming.
Part of the humor with Lance is that he isn't like a one-note joke. There's lots of instances where it is like, Lance is so dreamy, but then there's also just instances of him being too overtly serious, or like his facade slips away, or when Alana's doing something embarrassing, he's like visibly like recoiling.
Like when she's like preaching in the lunchroom, he's just like
I like that. The episode where they have the slime monsters, they have to use the cell phones to it's basically the Venom symbiote where they have to disrupt it with a frequency.
Yeah.
Text 1279 and the battle will.
I just like that he comes into the office just stop. It's too much.
Stop.
Just please stop.
And I love it because she's an effing princess.
There's just so much cringe and
It's great because when you watch anime, and even when I think about in Voltron, which also has a character named Lance, who is also very moody with black curly hair, I feel like that character is very one-dimensional, moody guy, and so I feel like with this show, they give him those very human-like qualities that I think are what make him a great character.
I also love when Octus is trying to learn how to just assimilate, and he approaches everything very matter-of-factly. This isn't anything new, this has been done before, but Brian Posehn's delivery is so great. Octus is the best.
I love Brian Posehn. Have I talked about I've met him twice?
No.
Okay, and it was it was wild because it was just so it just happened. It wasn't it was at a con or anything, and I waited in line to see him. The first time was I was at Disneyland and I ran into him and we talked for a bit and I got a picture. And then the second time was I went to a Judas Priest / Whitesnake concert. He was also there, and I talked and got a picture with him. It just happened it was amazing. No, that dude's great. I love that dude so much.
Brian Posehn's he's a comedian, but he's Octus's voice actor.
Oh, okay.
He does a lot of voice work.
Yeah.
He does. Was it Jim on Mission Hill? I
think he was also in Pompoko. It's a Studio Ghibli.
Oh, he was on the dub.
That's one of the few Ghibli's I haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, don't bother. It sucks.
All right,
it's literally one of two that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't call you for when we do the Pompoko episode, then Nolan.
I mean, if you want to hear me tear it to fucking shreds, go for it.
I'm sure we can get Kyle to do that.
It sucks. It sucks so bad.
So can we talk about how Gendy is obviously a booty man?
Gendy's an ass man.
So if I could just talk really quickly about what I knew from Sym-Bionic Titan, because this was the thing. I never watched the show as it aired, but it's
what everybody knows. Yeah. It's what everybody talks about.
Not just that, but it was because I was on the it was 2010, so I was on 4chan at the time, comics cartoons board, so I got to see posts about it a lot. And so there was always three things that always got posted from that show that I always saw. There was the little alien, Tashi 497. There's always gifs of him floating around. There was the picture of Lance with his license. And then there was the fucking just straight up twerking from Kimmy.
The booty shake.
The shake it, bake it, booty quake it, roll it around, don't fake it.
I wonder where that song came from. If that was made explicitly for the show,
it had to have been made for the show. The thing is, though, I think a lot of the songs that they use in this show because I know Tyler Bates is the composer, and I knew that without having to look it up because there was the episode with the little alien. There's this particular technique he does with the guitar and the echo. And I recognize that because Tyler Bates did the score for Watchmen, the movie. And I recognized that same exact technique from there. And so I was able to, I was like, that's fucking Tyler Bates, isn't it? I looked it up and it was. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I called that. Aside from that, though, yeah, so they do have some songs here and there that were composed specifically for the show. But then they also used some licensed tracks here and there. The one that I wrote down specifically that I knew was they use a Space Age Love Song from Flock of Seagulls, and that like caught me off guard. So I'm like, oh shit, I love that song. That's great. And that's
such a good song.
Yeah, and it's fucking like, you know, and this was in 2010, so I think a regular show debuted around here, and that was the show that really started like going ham on the licensed tracks there. So I guess it wasn't too out of the ordinary to see it happen in another show, but I guess Cartoon Network was just like kind of throwing money at the licensed music for a while there. It's kind of funny.
And it kind of makes sense that at least the licensed songs they did choose, because a lot of them are like from the 80s. And like obviously this show is like influenced by like John Hughes movies.
He's
like a lot of like 80s stuff, like kind of 80s teen movies. Like I guess is what Gendy like drew a lot of inspiration from.
One of the things I really liked.
It feels like it.
One of the things I read about that I really liked was that he was really passionate about making these characters like stand out and quote unquote be immigrants from somewhere else, because he said he always felt like he stood out because he himself was an immigrant, which I think is interesting. I always forget he's not an American-born person.
I mean, his last name is Tartakovsky.
It could be a family name. I mean, I don't know.
It's Russian as fuck.
My grandpa's name is Nicoletti, but my mom was born here, so I mean...
Likely story.
Yeah. One thing I really like is, well, not really like, I was actually going to say, I wanted to segue to Tashi 497 because it's my least favorite episode in the entire run.
Now, why is that?
Because it's... There's literally one line that just ruins it inherently.
Is it the end where it's just like, of all things, this is the hardest?
This was the hardest.
After everything we've been through, this was the hardest.
You.
And I'm like,
your planet went through
dude,
a genocide.
Abandoning your home planet and your father, the king, and everyone getting killed.
Fucking jellyfish you've known for a day and a half.
Yeah.
Just has that allure. It's so cute.
all she had to do was say something like, goodbye, Tash.
I know,
goodbye, Mushy.
It's so fucking melodramatic.
Yeah, I can skip that episode, no problem. I think one of my favorite episodes...
Yeah, that's... I mean, not... Since it's like a show on Cartoon Network, obviously not every episode is going to be moving the plot along, but at the same time, I've never, ever had a show that just does something so out of character.
Yeah.
Well...
It was so bad!
But Tashi was so cute, though.
It was like, we could have got that. You didn't have to say it. Like, we got that as an audience, that this was hard for you.
Yeah, I also didn't like, it really was just out of character, because you see Alana and Lance, like, fighting over the thing like children, and it was like, didn't we get over this in, like, the third episode, where they literally were treated like children with that one song?
They had to hear the Teamwork song.
Fucking Brian Posehn doing the baby talk, like, fucking killed me.
Yeah. God bless Octus. I want to bang him.
Oh my.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I was thinking, like, if he and Kimmy were to bone, and does he know what human reproductive organs would look like?
I'm sure he figured...
to be able to
assimilate that.
Well, no, you know what? There's the episode where they're like at the party, and like it was like they're having the burping contest, and so he has to like form a stomach to collect the gas to burp.
What I'm saying.
I'm like,
what if they were doing it and he examined her, and then he made himself a vagina instead because he didn't know?
I'm just saying that when they kiss, they fucking let out like actual electricity. So God, I would hope they'd be a bit more careful. Lay down some rubber or something.
I think Octus can make a vibrating dick. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, Octus.
JD, do you remember from watching Tenacious D last week? The robot with the do you remember that?
Kind of.
The fucking Terminator, and it had like the dick, and like Jack Black was making the whirring noises with his mouth, and like.
No, jeez.
I want to know what Nolan awakened.
Yeah, what awakened for you, Nolan?
I drew this concept. Let me see if I can
Oh
find
God.
it.
Oh boy.
It was a birthday gift for
shouldn't have
somebody,
asked.
and it was like, I gotta find it though. I have so much Symbionic Titan fan art in this folder. Good
I do
lord,
have
much of it is
Symbionic
so
fan
much of
art,
it.
but I'd have to dig for it.
Well, how much of it
Very
is not
good.
safe for work? Like what percentage?
A small bit, not much of it. It was not safe for work.
Mel,
If any.
Well, Nolan looks for that.
Mel, you were starting to get onto like what your favorite episode was.
Oh, I think one of my favorite episodes is the Scary Mary episode.
I thought you said it was
That one is
I thought you
great.
said it was the one where he gets his license.
Oh yeah, the license one is okay. Yeah, I retract
the
my
fucking
statement.
Fast and Furious episode.
Oh my god, I love that one. I
That
was so
episode is
excited-
legit really
I was
good.
so excited to rewatch that one, and I was waiting.
No,
for
literally, when we start rewatching, is like, wait until we get to the license episode.
my favorite. So good, so good.
She gets like, this, and then we got just like, this is the one. This is the one.
This is it. And I, it's so fucking funny. Although there's a black character in that one, but I think, and I was telling you, I think the reason I find it so funny is because it's so absolutely over the top, fucking insane. And then he's just doing the most normal, mundane human thing.
He's trying to
Of getting a license, but it just absolutely explodes in his face, and I fucking die.
And you,
You're going a little fast, aren't we? I'm going fast.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it because once you know his backstory, the dude pilots effing robots and shit, and like.
and I noticed something is that Alana is like, she's like really high up on like following all the rules and everything for this episode. And she's like, Lance can't actually drive the car that he built until he gets a proper license because that's how the rules are. Okay, fine. When did Octus ever have to go take the driver's exam? Because he drives the car all the time.
He drives all the time.
Yeah, but he's not a human. They go through that a lot of times in the show. He's
He
not
looks
human.
like one.
Yeah, but he's
Sure, he
not.
just materialized.
Oh,
the license.
I also like that in the episode where like they freeze all the people in the world.
I am Octus. That was the
Yeah,
episode.
I like that the word robot has basically become a slur for him.
Yeah.
Because he's not a
use that
robot.
word.
He's like half of. Oh my god, Nolan.
I found it. It's in recording chat.
Yeah, I don't know
God.
that how we're gonna get this across
Do
to
you
the
wanna see this
podcast
now?
audience, but rest assured, it's definitely something.
No.
I'm sorry for anyone listening to the audio. This is
Oh my god.
Just imagine Octus with like a big flash drive.
stuck to his crotch.
Yeah.
It's what he thought.
That's
I mean-
fucking hilarious.
He
I bet
did
Kimmy
he
would be
did his
into it.
he did his best.
She'd make it work.
She'd totally go down on that.
Oh, it's
And then she'd be like,
beautiful.
electrifying.
Oh god.
Yeah, that was horny as fuck. The way she said electric, like Jesus.
She wanted him so bad, dude.
And it's just so strange how like she basically like that episode like turns her character a complete 180. Like she's so superficial like every time we've seen her before, but because Octus treats her like a person and doesn't belittle her intelligence, she's like,
But it's funny because he's not actually. Because
No.
he's just being.
he's
being very.
he's just very
matter
matter of fact
exactly.
about
So
it.
Very
I don't
analytical.
think he is actually treating her as a quote unquote person because I don't think he actually knows what that means. I think he's literally just like programming will not cheat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it starts that way, and then it gets a little more like, you can do it. I noticed that Brian Posehn had a very like a light lisp in that episode, and I don't know why.
Parallelogram.
It was the
parallelogram.
it was huh?
It just screams parallelogram.
Parallelogram.
Parallelogram. What good voice direction?
I just
chef
I
kiss.
just like Brian Posehn's puberty voice cracks, like no matter what he's doing.
I think about his fucking the way that he just in his stand up he does that a lot too. And honestly, like there's never not a time in my day where I won't think of fucking him doing that type of voice, and I just like think of something that I said that might have been really dumb, and I do it in that voice to myself, just like to fucking deal with it.
I thought the voice director would have been somebody like Andrea Romano or Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, but no, Gendy did it himself.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Which it was surprising because like it sounds very good, and I didn't know him to be a seasoned voice director or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little surprising
more you
because
know.
typically you
The more
don't
you know.
hear about. Well, I mean, I guess it's not commonplace. Usually, there's usually a person for that sort of thing. Like you said, Andrea Romano, who I think whenever I hear about voice direction, her name is the one that always comes up.
Yeah, she's...
Yeah, but she's retired now. Or dead.
Who?
I'm not
Whoa.
sure
I
which.
think it's retired
Who?
Andrea Romano. She
Okay.
did a lot of voice direction for, like...
for Warner Brothers.
for Warner Brothers, a lot of
Warner-
DC animated stuff.
I zoned out for a hot second, then all of a sudden I just heard, or dead, and I was like, whoa, wait, who?
DC, Batman, take your pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also did Ben 10, Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, stuff like that.
It's all the Tara Strong.
Yeah.
Who was in this show?
Because I swear there's got to be a rule in Hollywood that Tara Strong has to make at least an appearance in every show, if not be the lead.
Well, yeah. Well,
Otherwise she gets angry.
She does.
If she's not.
really? Is that
Yeah.
a fact?
She got kind of mad with Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, really?
Kind of understandably so, but
Because of Bubbles? Bubbles
And
was
Teen
a really big
Titans,
character.
when they did that one movie, that wasn't even like actually Teen Titans. It was like one of the DC direct-to-video
Starfire
ones.
So she's
The
probably
one where
pissed
they
when
go
she
to
wasn't
Tokyo?
like Harley cast as Harley Quinn in the Harley Quinn show.
I hate
or like,
her as Harley Quinn. I was so glad that she wasn't
well,
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, her Harley Quinn is
I
not
hate
good.
it. It's so... It's just so
Over the
it's
top.
Tara Strong Harley Quinn. I mean, that's all I can really describe it as. But the joke everyone always makes about her in Symbionic Titan is that the Ashi from Samurai Jack has
Yeah.
like the same hair and is the same voice actress. So everyone always makes that joke that
yeah, I have no idea if that was intentional or not. But
it's there.
I would assume it had to be a reference that either that or it was like they designed the character and then they were like, she kind of looks like Alana. Maybe we'll just get Tara Strong to voice her or something.
I honestly didn't think anything of it because they were just both Gendy shows. So I was just like, I mean, you know,
I just imagine Tara Strong just running around Hollywood, like kicking doors in. And I'm like, all right, give me a part.
I mean, my God, her schedule's got to be full.
Nah,
She's
man.
still doing.
Let me
She's just
in. Let me in.
boarding up the doors like, no, Tara's in.
Ah, Tara! Cheers, Tara!
We didn't even schedule her for today. Oh my god. I want to say how fucking horrifying all the monsters in this show are.
The creature design and like the mech design and all that shit is so on point. Like I mentioned earlier about like the human designs being like really weird in comparison to like the main characters and stuff, but the creature and mech design in this show is like so good. It's like it's impeccable.
It makes me fucking wet.
Jesus.
Wow.
so good.
Yeah.
God, this show is so good.
Yeah, there's just like it's strange like how like intricate and grotesque all of the monsters are compared to like the very simplistic looking humans. Yeah.
That was it?
I thought you had more to say.
Sorry, I started thinking about something else in my head and I lost my train of thought.
Get the fuck together, JD. We're in the middle of recording a podcast, for fuck's sake.
Edit it out in post.
No. So I don't know if anyone else noticed this. In the episode with the shaman, after the shaman turns into his big like stone golem monster to fight the Titan, they're like fighting in like an oil refinery or something. And for whatever reason, and I think it's just because the Titan and the golem are both rendered in CG, the frame rate for that fight is like up to 60 frames a second, and it's like oddly smooth. And it's kind of like very off-putting contrasted to everything else around it.
I don't think I noticed that.
The Titan always has been was animated at a different frames per second.
Right.
I remember Gendy in an interview said that Titan was like the most difficult show he ever worked on.
Makes sense.
Because it was just like so
That
much
combo.
CG
Yeah.
2D integration. Like,
I think it was just more noticeable because you had two CG models fighting each other rather than the Titan fighting a 2D monster.
That episode always, honestly,
Yeah.
like, kind of confuses me. I feel like it's a little confusing. Like, and I get that it's supposed to be kind of off-putting because you're supposed to feel kind of disturbed by it. But I always think that part, like in the very beginning, where they walk over to like the ancient ruin thing and touch it, and then all of a sudden it just like cuts out to that. I don't know, man. I always
cuts to morning.
Yeah, I always get like
that
thrown off by that.
Well, that was like intentional because the characters don't remember what happened.
I do.
So we're like
get
in
that.
there.
That's the point, but it's still, I don't know.
It was jarring, but like that's the idea because when it cuts to the day after, Octus is just like slowly doing the dishes.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's creepy. Everybody's just moving very lethargic and slowly, and like they're like, "What happened last night?" And we don't know. And they turn to Octus, and he's just quiet.
That whole scene is weird because he's like not talking, he's quiet, and he has his back to the camera. And I keep expecting him to turn around and like some kind of like jump scare or something.
Yeah.
But that's the idea because it's about nightmares. Right. It's just a very well directed scene.
And that's another thing.
It's so creepy.
I think this like show, for the few instances that it does it, like handles like horror elements really well. Well,
the whole swamp episode.
Like the swamp episode, the one where they all go out to the barn, the nightmare episode. It's just like there's a lot of these like horror elements, and it's handled just as well as all the action is. Because it's all like very tense, very like grotesque monsters. I don't know. It's just strange to see how the show juggles so many different elements, but still handles them all really well.
Yeah, it's just a very good show with a lot of variety.
Talk about
lots of different.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, can we talk about how fucking frustrating it is that we'll never get an answer to loose ends?
Well, I mean,
I've gotten a couple because I know people.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. I think with fucking Samurai Jack getting its last season, being able to resolve its shit, like it's definitely not out of, the
question.
Not out of the question.
Sell it. For, like, tax purposes?
What happened with Sym-Bionic Titan was it was written off for taxes. It was written off as a financial failure, meaning that they can't air it again. But they can, with Mecha's XLR, that also got written off as well.
That show.
Huh?
Sorry, I was just saying I liked that show.
Yeah, it was a good show, from what I've heard. But
that was great.
The thing with Mega's XLR is that like they can't air it again because of that. But then they went through like months and months and months of paperwork in order to get it back. So the same could be done for Titan.
I think that same would have to have been done for Titan, right? Because, I mean, maybe not air it on TV, but I would have to imagine streaming counts for something.
I'm not sure how streaming factors into it. It was a surprise that it wound up on streaming at all. Yeah. I don't know why or how.
I remember everyone was real shocked when it just kind of showed up, and I'm like, oh, so this is a thing now.
Shocked, but not disappointed.
Not disappointed, for sure. I need to finish my rewatch, but it was just like... I was legitimately shocked, like, how the fuck did this get on Netflix?
Just Netflix?
I still don't know.
HBO Max, which seems to be a big...
Well, I don't think HBO Max was up yet when this first dropped.
HBO Max wasn't up, but it was definitely, I think, in development. But, I mean, like, Cartoon Network doesn't give a shit about this show at all.
It sucks.
I mean, yeah, because their sole reason behind not renewing it was that, it didn't have any good toys because they didn't make the toys for their own damn show.
There's a lot of conflicting reports. Another one I've heard is that,
they're salty because he left for Hotel Transylvania, I've heard.
No, it's the other way around. It's either the toy problem was the thing, or it was Cartoon Network pushed Gendy to make it more like Ben 10, give it more toyetic elements, and he was like, fuck off. And they were like, fine, we're canceling it.
Really? I didn't heard that.
I mean, besides like maybe having like a Titan action figure, which I'd totally be down for, because I think the design for that is really great, this just show isn't something that demands toys.
Well, and I agree, and especially because I feel like the audience was older, and, like... I feel like with how like Hot Topic and things are these days, you could make a lot of pop culture-y like merchandise for
Funko
it.
Pop.
Yeah,
T-shirts.
Where's our Octus Funko Pop?
I'd buy it. I don't want it. I hate Funko Pops, but if it supports the show, then I would buy all of them.
That's the reason why I ended up buying all the, Steven Universe Pops, because that was another show that didn't get really much good merchandise either.
Yeah, it's so funny to me when people are like, "Why did this show get canceled? I loved it. I watched it." I'm like, "Did you buy the merch?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, there you go."
Well,
It's every fucking time. Everybody acts so shocked when a show doesn't do well. Like Rise of the TMNT, for instance, people act so shocked that Nickelodeon canceled it, but it's like, toy sales not good.
I could not get
go
into
buy
that
them.
show.
I'm just saying as an example,
Right.
like everybody's acting so shocked that like it's getting canned, but like at the same time, it's like if you're not financially supporting the show outside of watching it, like ratings are like not even half the battle. It's all in the merchandising for action shows like that.
Yeah.
If you're not buying the toys, they're going to resort to making a cheaper cartoon.
Right. But I think this kind of leads back into what we were talking about earlier, is that I think that Sym-Bionic Titan was just kind of a wrong place, wrong time kind of show. I
Way ahead of its time.
like if you would have put this on Netflix within the last couple of years, like, because Voltron did really well, She-Ra did really well, and they had, I would say, some similar elements that Titan did. I think it would have done well on Netflix. And
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a shame.
I do too, yeah.
because I think Netflix isn't so much concerned with outside merchandise as they are with how many people are
Which
watching
I love.
the
It's
show.
been so refreshing.
I mean, Voltron went on for like 8 seasons.
yeah, I really didn't need to, but and She-Ra was
I think it's because with Netflix, it's a streaming service and you have to pay to get
Right.
access to
That
it.
makes
So
sense,
it's like if you have good content, people are going to buy your streaming
Exactly.
service, and that's the end
Yeah,
goal.
so
And
I'm hoping. Obviously, this is a long shot, and I seriously doubt anything will come of it. I'm wondering if, obviously Gendy's preoccupied at the moment. If they see that the views for people watching this on their platform, if Netflix would be like, hey Gendy, want to come back and like finish the show real quick?
Well, I was even hoping just for, because when Samurai Jack ended, they released comics for it, and I kind of thought that's where it was going to kind of lead to an ending, and so I was secretly hoping maybe they'll do that for Sym-Bionic Titan, because I feel like it could make some good comic strips.
the thing about that is like you have to like really let them know. I've been trying to vouch for any Sym-Bionic Titan continuation whatsoever, and it's very. I've learned a couple things. It's contacting them directly en masse, and Sym-Bionic Titan unfortunately was just advertised really poorly, so nobody knows about it except for like cartoon community people, and even then that's a very small niche group.
Right.
And there's no organized movement to get Titan back. There's no hashtag. There's no sort of movement anymore because it died years ago. I was part of it. I was there.
Being a decade since it's been away is definitely rough because you've got the shows now that are new that are trying to get renewed. So there's a lot of like the movement behind renewing Glitch Techs and renewing Infinity Train and that sort of thing. But it's a lot harder to kind of get that groundswell support for a show that's kind of dead and moved on for a while now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Samurai Jack was in the same boat, sort of. At least Jack wasn't like canceled, I guess, so it has that going for it. But yeah, no, with Titan, it's going to be very difficult to get anybody on board for like a movement to get it renewed because
there's a lot of hoops to jump through for.
Sucks.
Well, and I mean, like I mentioned earlier, Gendy being able to finish off Samurai Jack was definitely great. And then the other recent news was, they finally, I'm not sure if the ink is still dry or the ink's still wet or whatever, but you have to remember they took away his Popeye movie he wanted to do, and now he's finally going to be able to get to do that now. So
is he actually?
Maybe
I keep hearing back and forth on that.
The last I heard was that King's Features, whoever owns the Popeye license or whatever right now, they were saying that they're going to get him on
themselves instead of going with Sony.
So, who knows? After that's all done, maybe they'll get him back to, this will be his third thing they can kind of renew and get to finally finish,
we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
I don't
he's just
care for the Hotel Transylvania movies as a story, but I love watching them just aesthetically.
how they get more progressively bouncier
They're so
every
fluid.
movie.
They're very like.
They are doing a Hotel Transylvania. They're doing a new movie in that series without him, though, huh?
Without
They're
him.
doing a 4?
I think so. I thought I read that.
Oh, weird.
I might be wrong.
I mean, it's like one of Sony's only flagship animated
Yeah.
franchises that they completely
Well,
own.
besides
so.
Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, I guess Spider-Man does count too, but that was like before
Right.
when Sony Animation was just struggling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have either of you
so
guys
when it was like-
watched Primal?
I've watched a bit of Primal, like the first 3 episodes. I was waiting for the rest of season 1 to come out, which is going to be like in October. They're releasing the rest of season 1, and then I
gosh, I
imagine
didn't
we'll
even know
probably
it wasn't over yet.
I imagine we'll probably do an episode about that here once it's all out. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that because I want to be able to watch it all at once.
That's funny.
I thought they already released all of season 1. Now it's season 2.
I think this is still considered all season 1.
Oh my gosh.
Huh.
Okay.
The point is that there's
But,
more episodes.
We
Yes.
stopped watching it after the really fucking depressing woolly mammoth one.
I
God,
forget
it was
that
so
one.
sad.
It was like second or third
I'm
episode
really
in.
struggling to watch it.
Yeah.
I struggle.
So
It's a super depressing
It is,
show.
and
Like
it's
the first
so
episode
gritty.
ends with Yeah,
so
it's a great show though because it's just straight up nobody's talking, which is like that's like a big deal because like a lot of people are like nobody will want to watch a show that's either subtitled or has no talking in it, and Gendy's like, let me try.
right, hold my
Let me
beer.
try.
Well, he's a big fan of those old samurai movies.
Yeah, which has a lot of just
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah,
And,
that's-
and again, it goes back to how Gendy really knows how to like work a quiet moment, and this Primal is just all quiet moments. But we'll talk more about that when more episodes are out.
But yeah, so basically Gendy is God.
Nolan, I want to hear.
Sym-Bionic Titan was
I want to hear what you think. What you have theories on as far as open-ended plots.
Well, you
Well,
know,
like I said-
but before he gets into that, because Mel, you kind of talked about like the racing episode being like one of your favorites. So, Nolan, JD, did you have any particular? I don't think I have a particular favorite episode, but I do have a bunch of like little notes here and there for things I did really enjoy. But I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion on like what you thought was like, or not your
Jamie
opinion,
hasn't
but
finished it yet.
Well, so I mean, I've seen all of it before. I don't have a particular favorite one. I did enjoy the episode where they're captured by the
the space.
yeah,
G3.
those
people.
guys. Because I just think their like aesthetic is very interesting, and Mel even pointed out like I guess what's his name? The guy with the hat. Solomon, yeah.
Solomon.
He talks to like his superior at their end, and that's the only time you ever like see or hear from that guy.
well, except at the very end
No,
too.
very
There's
For now.
Which a lot of fans
that's the
assume
thing
it's
that I'm
Lance's
warning
dad.
about. Like fucking, as far as it getting continued, was I want to know like how the fuck did that dude repair Octus? That was
I
like
wanna
the
know-
biggest thing that I wanted to know.
Why he could fight like Lance. I want to know why they had Galilean tech. Why he was able to fix Octus.
Because they do like the in-sync fighting. Is like, where'd you learn to fight? It's like, where did you?
Because I think the robot hand guy is Lance's dad. That came through the rift.
I think Robot Hand Guy is the king from the
Oh
future.
boy! Oh my god! Really? Wow! My brain did not go
Riftgate
there.
technology.
Did anyone else think Solomon looked exactly like Alucard from Helsing?
Yeah, it's literally 1-to-1 Alucard from
Like,
Helsing.
it's like if you crossed Alucard and Pete White from Venture Brothers.
I love this show, but like dead ass, they should have been sued.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, the stuff with G3 really was the most intriguing stuff,
The
and I really
fucking,
want to know
like,
more about like what they were all
uniform
about,
that
because
they're
there was a lot
wearing.
of like back and forth between like, are they the good guys, are they the bad guys, are they like in the middle ground, they're helping them, then
Well,
they're hindering them, and
I just thought it was interesting that we have these two like government factions at war with each other the entire show, but they're also at war with like the same with like the Titan team. So it's like they're
but the other one's like the army specifically,
Yeah, he
so of
doesn't like
course
being
they're the
undermined.
enemies.
So,
They're not.
yeah.
The army and G3 aren't at war per
No,
se.
they're just trying to figure
for
shit
now.
out.
No. The army just has big dick energy,
Yeah, exactly.
and G3 is just like God. These
Yeah,
fucking
the hammer.
And I do like
all
that
this
episode
shit with like the
where-
last episodes where they fucking build the robot out of the Mutrati ship and just fucking
Yeah.
John DiMaggio just making fucking MC Hammer fucking puns like the whole episode.
John DiMaggio is a gift.
The hammer.
The hammer, yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
hammer
and they
time.
draw and they draw him like they storyboard him progressively more
Unhinged.
like monstrous and unhinged and angry, and it's like, oh, God, what a good
Love
show.
it.
So good.
I also want to give major props to the facial expressions in the show because it's like so fucking
All
crazy
the
and
teeth all
hilarious.
jaggedy
Oh
and
my god, just like they'll just throw in a random, just very odd face every now and then, and it's like it fucking kills me.
So I read that the same voice actor for the metal hand guy is the same voice actor as Lance's dad, which is one of the reasons I think it's him.
Gasp.
So that was
That could
my
be true.
theory.
That was kind of
I didn't even think to fucking look that up. An idiot.
yeah.
God.
No, that actually would make a lot of sense. That's
Who's
kind of
the
like
man
in
now? No, I'm kidding.
that's like in OKKO. They had 3 characters that
Right,
were voiced by
right.
Steve Ogg, and it turned out they were all the same character.
And then my other theory is I don't think that the
Modula.
well, yeah, I don't think that's actually. I think he's mind controlled with his hat or whatever the eyeball is. I think he's being mind controlled. I don't think that's actually him.
How come he
I'll just say I can't comment on that.
looks like a monkey?
Wink, wink.
Yeah,
He looks
very,
like no.
Mojo
I was
Jojo.
I was telling Kyle. He kind of looks like
Monkey.
Kyle
Oh
with like the fucking beard the way it is, and
Yeah,
like
a
the
little bit.
eyes covered,
does.
and like
Oh my
what he
God, he
and what he's
does.
wearing.
That's
I
what
told
Kyle's
Kyle,
gonna
I was
look
like,
at 60.
no! Well,
no, I was
he's
saying,
a complete
I was saying,
fucking
Kyle, man,
power
you should
top.
get that hat. I could see you crushing that.
If you draw like Halloween portraits for the podcast, like make Kyle's
Modula.
No one will even understand the reference.
We will,
That'll
and
be
that's
funny.
fine.
But yeah, he's an absolute like power top.
He's power top.
Those boots.
So, yeah, so I did want to just go over a couple of like other little things I really enjoyed from the show. Like I said, I think if I had to pick like a favorite episode, it wouldn't really be an episode per se. It'd be like the last 3. Just that whole arc was like really good. But as far as like specific little moments here and there, you did bring up like the street race episode, and basically when they did like that whole race with like no dialogue and like no music until the end, I thought that was like especially good. Like we've already gone, off on for a considerable amount of time about Gendy's time,
Yeah.
but there especially basically any of the parts of the show that deal with like music of any sort, because I'm of course a very musically inclined person, so them seeing characters like go to shows and that sort of thing, or being
Yeah,
in
Matt,
bands,
did you like when they went to the metal show?
yeah, space. It was a fucking what was it? Alien Death Hammer. Yeah, when they and they're moshing. Yeah, no, I love that.
I was
And
like,
then
they look like Death Clock.
a little bit, and then like there's an episode where Lance joins Disenfranchised, and like
Oh God, Disenfranchised was funny as
I
That
fuck.
was-
love that Lance became an emo guitar player.
and in that same episode, Disenfranchised was when we see fucking out of nowhere we see fucking Muscle Archie.
Yeah, Muscle Archie
What was it?
from River.
Yeah, from
Dead ass out of Riverdale.
yeah, and that was so bizarre to see.
I want to know more about the scary as fuck goth chick, because I think her design is so unhinging. Like, her eyes.
Really?
Oh! When she first appears in the Scary Mary episode and she's just there, I'm just like, ah!
She's not that scary, for fuck's
Yeah.
sake. Rude.
Rude.
I just find her so creepy.
Her name is actually Kristen, and you only know that if you look in the credits.
Thank you.
They named her. It's very
I'm
sad that we couldn't hear her name.
I'm sure she would have popped up more if the show is allowed to continue. Because I guess Gendy had like scripts for like 10 more episodes written.
So sad.
Yeah, there was going to be a 70s style musical starring Alana.
Oh.
There was going to be a 3-episode arc where they battle this huge Mutrati creature. There was going to be a lot of cool shit, but nope. Apparently, they have the scripts lying around somewhere, and I need to find them.
I agree. And then you need to tell me all about it.
Like I said earlier, you said something that I could not comment on, so...
So that could confirm my theory.
Maybe.
Everyone listening, if you need to get your hot takes on Symbionic Titan, talk to Nolan directly. I'm sure his contact info will be in the description somewhere. Send him emails or Discords or...
Send me, if you are Paul Rudish, Brian Andrews, or Gendy Tartakovsky, email me all those scripts immediately. Text me, and
Gendy
literally I will keep them all to myself and I will never say another word, I promise you.
I feel like a highlight in my life would be to, like, shake Gendy's hand and get an autograph.
I feel like a highlight of my life would finally know how Symbionic Titan ended so I can just die.
You're just propelling yourself through rage until then.
Your soul just literally leaves your body.
All I'm literally living on right now is just pure aggression and testosterone.
Oh my god!
And the only thing keeping me alive is the Cuphead show and the possibility of Symbionic Titan coming back.
That's fair. Honestly,
I'm
what's
looking
keeping
forward
me
to
going
Cuphead
is
show.
the Fruits
That's gonna be
Basket
great.
reboot.
Fruits Baskets. That's the theme song, right?
Absolutely. You got it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nolan, is there anything else about, like any other bits that you wanted to talk about?
Do you have 5 hours?
I mean, I got all day. I don't know about Mel. She has to go to work tomorrow.
I do have to go
so do I,
to
but
bed, yeah.
sleep is for the weak.
Yeah. But no, basically just my favorite episode is Lessons in Love because it's just really cute and funny.
It is
and
really good.
It's just a good vertical slice of the show.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't have the fucking twerking scene in it.
I think especially because it has a twerking scene in it, right? That's what everyone remembers the show for.
The scene serves a purpose. I have just no idea how they got that past
on
censors.
TV, I know.
Because
the best part of that scene,
it quote unquote serves a purpose. It's so surface level fan service.
Yeah, but the best part of that scene is fucking the whole thing happens and Octus just goes no.
I know, I love it. I find it very validating. Funny. I do. As a girl, I'm very validated that she's doing all this sexy sex stuff to try to sway his opinion. And obviously he's a robot, so it's like doesn't. But yeah, he's just
he has no dick to sway.
Like, stop. And I love it. I find it very validating.
No.
I love how he says, I love how he just confronts her and is like, do you actually, like, give a shit about doing
it? I do. I love it. And then she's like, I'll show you committed. And then she actually does try. Because, I don't know, man, I feel for her. Math fucking sucks. Like...
No, no, it's very humanizing that she literally just feels like all she is just a piece of meat to be ogled at.
I thought that part was cheesy, but... I don't know.
It's so hard.
Like, you don't get it. I have to be popular and beautiful.
I mean, it's based in, like... It's based in, like, real fucking, like, issues that girls go through. Like, my sisters dealt with the same shit.
Yeah, I've never seen anything so cut, dry, black and white, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, but, like,
and I was saying to Jamie, I was saying to Jamie in the cheerleading tryout episode, I was like, that's not how cheerleading works. It's very, like you've got a coach and tryout.
Yeah, where the fuck is the cheerleading coach in any of that?
I was like, that's not how it works.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Y'all just acting like this needs to be exactly like high school.
Yep. I need realism in my giant robot show.
I agree, in my space teleportation show.
Giant robots, space monsters, I can accept. But high school realism, that's where I draw the line.
I agree.
Sherman, Illinois does not look like that. What a garbage show.
I know, right?
Yeah, I absolutely 100%.
I'm glad it got canceled.
But yeah, no, in spite of some of its more problematic elements, Symbionic Titan is one of the greatest shows of the 2010s that was slept hard on.
Absolutely.
I miss it so much.
And I feel like every time I rewatch it, I always see something new. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just great.
There's lots of nice callbacks, like in Disenfranchised, they show that the monster legs from episode 2 are still there because they can't...
Love it.
Because they're trying.
Well, I mean, through the entire show, the giant crater from like the first episode is still there, and they just built a bridge over it.
Well, and they're constantly going back to the actual real world damage and consequences that it's had, which good on them.
And I did like the first time that they're fighting in the suburbs and how hard they're trying not to break anything.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're downtown, smash away, but like.
Although we were talking about in the episode that time freezes how many people died.
Oh, there's gotta be millions dead. I mean, they zoom in on like a crashed helicopter, and that's supposed to be implied like, just thousands of planes probably just drop from the sky.
Absolute murder.
Don't think about it.
I mean, you're not supposed to think about it, but that's where my brain goes. Like, just millions dead. Just from...
Millions are dead!
Just from fall damage alone. Anyway. Guys, if you have not watched Sym-Bionic Titan, please go do it. Like Nolan said, I have not watched this show since it came out, and like just rewatching it, I definitely see its value and like how ahead of its time it was, and just like what Gendy and his crew were trying to do, and
It still holds up.
It very much still holds up, and like it's on Netflix, right?
I think it's.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's better than a good chunk of the shows that are out now.
Yeah.
In my
Well,
opinion.
take it from somebody that watched it with some fresh eyes and never seen it before. I particularly enjoyed it, so I feel like y'all should out there too.
You're instantly hooked right in that first episode because you want to know, who are these people? Where'd they come from? Why are they hiding?
Yeah, it was weird because I remember the first episode like completely out of sequence. I thought it started on
Galaluna.
Yeah, I thought it started there, but like no, it like just like throws you into all the
which
main
I really enjoyed.
No, I agree.
It's really unconventional.
I think it was a good way, but yeah, it just like the first like scene 1 of the first episode is just Lance, Alana, and Octus like crash landing on Earth, and like you don't know why they're there, where they came from, and stuff. Eventually, it fills you in, but I
get the flashback episodes later.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the insanely amazing choreographed fight scene in that flashback episode where their planet's being taken over between Lance and
Well, I mean, we don't want to go over every single thing with a
fight.
fine-tooth comb. Let the audience go out there and check it out for themselves.
But holy crap, that's a...
We are allowed to mention the things that we love because it was taken from us.
It was taken from us.
Taken too soon.
Oh my god.
Gone but never forgotten.
How dare they? It's a personal attack, really.
I'm gonna get a headstone made.
Honest to God, it was. I wrote a letter to Stuart Snyder, and I said, yo, bring Sym-Bionic Titan back. And he was like, Stuart Snyder was the president of Cartoon Network at the time, sidebar. But he was like, well, unfortunately, Titan just didn't pull in the ratings we needed. And I'm like, you're a fucking liar. You lied to my face.
Nolan, you cracked me the fuck up because I was a part of so many, like, save Sym-Bionic Titan groups and shit. Like,
maybe you guys met inadvertently. One of those.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was only one, and it was on Facebook, as far as I know.
I was a part of that.
Help Sym-Bionic Titan get another season. That one.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like one of the mods on that.
Damn.
Nolan.
There's some lore here.
Yeah. A lot of people I know now. That they almost knew me from that. It's crazy.
That's hilarious. Funny. I was also part of a Save Hey Arnold the Jungle Movie one, so
hey,
I did get that. So
we did get that.
Yeah, so I can't complain too hard.
Good for you.
It was all right.
I cannot complain as far as my fandoms go. I got a Hey Arnold ending, a Samurai Jack ending, Fruits Basket remake. What else? I mean, Cardcaptor Sakura came back for a short bit. I mean, my life is okay. If Sym-Bionic Titan came back, I would honestly be like, that's all my karma in the universe. That's it. I'm done. I'm dried up. I have used it up. Like, I better not step outside my house because a meteor's going to hit me.
So I think what we're trying to get at here, guys, if you've not watched Symbionic Titan, even if you have, it's on Netflix. I'd say 99% of the people listening to this have Netflix. Go watch this show. It's only 20 episodes. Yes, it ends on a cliffhanger, but I think the time spent watching this, I think, is well worth it. There's a lot of good to be mined out of this show. So
hell yeah,
give it a shot if you haven't already. If you have, give it another watch.
Tasty.
Yeah,
tasty.
I should also mention it's one of those cliffhangers that kind of ends somewhat like it's like a jumping off point, type of deal where it's like. It feels conclusive enough where it doesn't feel that painful.
You get those flashbacks.
I mean, it's still painful.
It's not the Clone High ending, but... Melanie gets those jokes now.
I do get those jokes now.
It's one of those cliffhangers where it's like there's still lingering questions, but it's like not like it leaves you in a situation where it's like...
Yeah.
the characters are about to die, and they're like, "How are we gonna get out of this mess?"
Yeah, right.
So you're probably wondering, how did I end up in this mess?
Before I tell you that story, I gotta tell you this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we went a little too far. We need to go at this point in the story.
So at least you didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Well, there you go, guys. Those are our thoughts on Sym-Bionic Titan. Please go watch this, whether you have before or not. Melanie and Nolan, I especially want to thank you guys for being here and giving your insight on this show.
Excellent. Nolan taught me many things that I did not know.
I miss you, Octus.
Come back
to us.
Just get Brian.
I think out of all the characters on the show that I would fuck, I'd probably fuck Solomon.
Oh, God.
I bet he'd be a good lay.
No.
But he's a...
To end on a certain note, Mike definitely wanted to fuck Lance. I just want to say that right now.
Mike?
He was horny.
Wait, which one's Mike?
The guy, the Red Dragon from the episode.
Yeah, he wanted to make Lance his bitch.
Yeah, he wanted to step
He
on Lance.
wanted to put a little bow in his hair.
So we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for coming by. That was our talk on Sym-Bionic Titan, and we'll have something really great for you next week. So long.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I gotta do. If you want to talk about this episode, please visit our Facebook page, our Twitter, our Discord. All those links are in our show notes, and we're available on pretty much every streaming platform out there, so you can find us on there as well. But again, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you all again next week. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
You know, maybe I retract my statement. I don't know if Solomon would be a good lay.
Jesus Christ.
It's kind of weird.
Thanks for listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show. Join our Discord to chat with us. Links are in the description. We'll see you next time.